because I wasn't here the last time we purchased barrels. How much are the barrels and how long do they last? I know that does not include the cost of all the staff time going into filling them, et cetera, but I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, I think the water-filled barricades are about 300 to 400 apiece. And I think we got those 4 to 6 years ago. And again, some are in probably pretty good shape, and we have some that aren't holding water very well.
Yeah, they were here before I came. I've been here 4.5 years. And
Okay, so
they were,
5 or 6
They were
years
in
ago.
place, yeah, probably 6 years, yeah.
So about 400 per barrel, and they last 5 years if we're lucky.
Well, yeah, and that price I gave you was, from what I'm remembering,
Gotcha, so they're 1,500 per barrel.
yeah, it's probably gone up somewhat, yes.
Lead time's out to 2025.
Right, you can't get any until the year 3000.
Yes.
Okay. And replacement of this modular vehicle barrier system, how long do these last? A lot longer than 5 years, I would think?
It's steel and metal, so however long it takes before,
End of days, we're talking?
If someone tries to go through them, they might have to replace them.
Right.
and then we'll go after their insurance to replace them.
Exactly.
It's also a physical, I mean, if somebody sees this,
Right.
they're
They're not
not
gonna try
thinking
it.
right to try to push by this.
It's preventative.
Very much so.
Yeah, and I think for the water-filled barricades we have, we might still use those to supplement or expand a protection area. But I think this would probably be the primary barrier for the main area.
Absolutely.
How many barrels do we have? Or should we have?
I want to say between 10 and 12, but
Yeah, I would say maybe about, I was going to just off the top of my head, 13 or something like that. Yeah. Because it goes, there's pretty much 4 in each side of the street, plus some on sidewalks, plus extras. So it's not like we would just throw away these barricades.
Right.
We would just use more of them.
So for the 60,000, how many of those units are, I couldn't really determine, like, does it cover 2 ends of a street?
It would cover, it would cover 2 ends of the street down at the lakefront.
so it'd be, I think, 30 total individual units that could connect together that you can segment however needs to be done, but
Jeff Lennius just took a class last week on the Waukesha Christmas Parade, and I asked him this morning, and he said they bought about $800,000 immediately after the parade, looking to target harden any future parades. And these would be at every parade. We use the 4th of July and Memorial Day parade and graduations and anything else where there's a police presence needed.
Well,
So it's not just for the beach party or 4th of July, it would be more other events.
Heather?
but you'd need lots of them for.
Oh, yeah, you could do it for every street the other thing we do is squad cars. So some of these intersections, we put a squad car out there. And this is basically, the primary would be for 4th of July, beach party, to lock those areas down, because that has, I mean, if you have 10,000 people down at the lakefront, you're putting these things at both sides and stopping anything that comes through. But we would use them also for Memorial Day Parade. We put it in an intersection and supplement it with a squad car, and we could supplement it with barricades. But we look at every single intersection is a potential threat. But that's why we use different things.
How many will this cover, Chief? How many?
This would be about just the front by the blue condos and by Lake Brewers too. So just those 2 areas. Curb to curb, that's it. Yeah, and we'd still use the water barricades also to supplement on sidewalks.
But you said they're also modular, so if you need a bigger
you-
area to cover somewhere else, like a WCTC parking lot or something, you can put more together and create one large barricade
Yes.
versus 2 small ones.
Yeah, you could, if we really had a lot of money and we wanted to drop $500,000, we could put them all over the place. Yeah.
We'll add it to the list.
Yeah,
These won't stop a medium-duty truck, like a box truck.
yeah. These they had like and there's videos you can look online and watch for this product, and I think it's like an 8-passenger, like an 8-passenger white travel van, a little higher, 45 miles straight into it, and it just catches it. It just stops it. I mean, it might move back a few feet, but it will just stop in its tracks.
Will it stop one of those, like, Ford F-150?
So, yeah, it would stop that, because it's similar to like an 8-passenger bus. But when asked, would it stop a semi, they don't, they didn't practice with a semi. They didn't practice with a dump truck or something like that. They looked at, is it going to stop a car or a larger truck or a pickup truck? And the answer is yes. And then they didn't say, well, what if it's going 60 miles an hour instead of 45 miles? They didn't play. We asked those questions, but they said, this is the
It's designed to like high point the vehicle, basically take the wheels off the ground.
Correct. Yeah.
It runs up on it and it rotates it up to where it
You're
lifts the
stuck.
vehicle off and stops it.
That was my next question, because they look kind of low.
And again, there's a video online that you can just watch, and it shows demonstrations.
I was just, when I looked at these, and I thought they were pretty nice and that, but I thought there were some other ones out there that actually would stop a medium-duty box truck. It actually dead track and smash it, the whole front end blocks in.
Well, I think a 8-person buses or a transport box truck would be like a medium-sized truck. I think that's what they take into consideration. And again, you're looking at Waukesha vetted these and made that choice, and State Fair Park did the same thing. So it's not like we're being the test person for this product. This is a product that other departments are using also.
Yeah, and this is a product, looking through the marketing material, when we first started looking at this, that is used around the globe.
And we weren't the only, when State Fair Park brought the rep into, prior to the fair, I mean, we were a room full of people. I mean, they had jurisdictions from all over the place come to watch the demonstration in the parking lot and in a conference room.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments?
And we're talking about using infrastructure funds, and if the numbers that you're projecting in the budget hold for the rest of this year, we're going to be adding a significant amount of money into the infrastructure fund, aren't we? So that's going to be a lot more flush than it is today.
Yes.
Now, that when I talked to Scott about this, when we look at next year's budget, we were buying 2 cars at a pop at $58,000. We bought 2 of them this year. Next year, we're buying 1 car. So it's like an off year where if you had to free up some money, at least you're not, you're used to paying for 2 cars, squad cars, and this is a year when we have 1 off, so we're just buying 1.
No, I think the infrastructure fund is the right place to
Yeah.
come from.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I will make a motion to purchase the modular vehicle barriers as presented today for $59,980 using the infrastructure funds.
Second, Grabowski.
Possible action regarding 2023 trick-or-treat date and time. Again, another really hot item. Scott?
We may be here late.
I know.
And we have gotten calls on this one as far back as 2 to 3 weeks ago, I believe. So, again, the city has established their trick-or-treat day for the last Saturday of October. Historically, the 2 communities have had the same trick-or-treat date and time. So that's what we're presenting to the board for consideration. And I guess direction for long-term, if there's a desire to have trick-or-treat be the last, I think other communities have like the last Saturday of October versus revisiting this every year. We can certainly look at pursuing that, bring it back to the board. So it's not an annual
That's a great idea.
decision-making.
And you'll save yourself a few phone calls too.
Because there are some weird years where the way the weeks fall, what if we just always say the Saturday before Halloween? Because like there are some times where there's another Saturday.
What if it falls on Saturday?
Even better.
On or before.
There you go.
On or before. Yeah, it's like the closest Saturday without going over.
Okay, Bob Barker.
Yeah, Bob Barker, yeah.
So are there any other questions or comments? The action tonight is to have the Saturday, October 28th from 4 to 7. And then we can bring the other discussion back.
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve the 2023 trick or treat dates with direction to staff for future date consideration.
Second, Gergen.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion is hereby carried. Discussion and possible action on elimination of the deputy clerk treasurer, account finance clerk administrative assistant positions and approval of deputy clerk and deputy treasurer positions. Kathy?
Hey, sorry, let me just get to where I am. So we're bringing this back. We talked last meeting about the ability to eliminate what is Vicky's job right now after she retires, the accounts payable admin assistant, and add a full-time treasurer or deputy treasurer and a full-time deputy clerk. It seemed as though the board was favored it, and so we came up with job descriptions, and we're looking for your feedback.
Questions or comments from the board?
I think we've indicated, we're in favor of this. Personally, as I read through the job descriptions, I basically look to you guys. You know what you do every day. I don't, so, if you guys are comfortable with it, I'm comfortable because I wouldn't even know what to tell you to change or correct.
Exactly. We need to eliminate these.
I did after a while wonder, well, what are they gonna do?
Yeah. Nothing.
Just kidding, just kidding.
Are there any other questions or comments? Somebody like to make a motion for what is proposed here?
Motion to act on eliminating the deputy clerk and treasurer and account finance clerk administrative assistant positions with the approval of a deputy clerk and deputy treasurer position.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is hereby adopted. Review and direction on proposed salary range adjustment for non-represented positions, possible action on establishment of salary ranges for deputy clerk and deputy treasurer positions. Kathy again, or Scott?
I'll take this one. Included with the packet is a copy of the salary survey I did with our peer communities, which are outlined by the salary plan that was created several years back. And with regard to the current and proposed, those are the two separate blue lines. The first one for each category is the current range, and then the second line is the proposed range. Looking at the different classifications or the different communities and our positions, would recommend a 5% increase in the range. And again, that doesn't mean everybody's automatically getting a 5% increase in wages. It's just we're adjusting the range to be market competitive with our surrounding communities. Doesn't mean that in every case we're going to be high end at the top of each salary classification and range. No, or we're always going to be at the bottom. No, we're trying to find that fine point of being competitive, but not necessarily trying to be a trendsetter on being too high, but also trying to be competitive on the start range. As you can tell, there are communities out there that don't have salary ranges, so it's kind of hard to say every single circumstance has a range and we're going to be within it, but that's where I also look to where if there is no range, what's the current salary at? just to be competitive with that as well.
So Scott, are any of the positions currently at the minimum?
At the minimum, I think we might have one utility employee looking at, if the range is adjusted upwards, that might be a couple $100 off of the minimum going into '24. But again, that employee is also would have their merit evaluation, and I think we'd also need to look at current salaries, I think, on our utility operators, just to look at where they're at, to see if we need to do any kind of market adjustment in addition to merit, just to be competitive.
Have you done projections as to what this would change for us? For different, whoever's at a minimum, just so that we would have people, if we're going to have to give people increases or anything like that?
I think the main ones, I think our equipment operators have been brought up have been brought on this year between the mid to the high end of the range, just knowing where the market is with our peer communities. And I think utility operators are probably going to be the main ones where we need to look at market adjustments. Looking at the other positions, I think we're generally competitive to where our peer communities are.
Scott, when was the last time we adjusted the ranges?
1 year ago. And former trustee Hill asked for it to be brought back again this year instead of waiting a couple of years.
Any other comments or questions? Do we have some direction here from the board as to how you would like this handled?
Oh, the one other point before getting direction is just consideration on the mechanics. Right now, again, that's a competitive position to fill, as is engineers. And so I'd ask for consideration to look at adjusting that range from a grade 9 to a grade 10, which basically would move it up 3,000 on the low end and about 3,000 on the high end of the salary range. So the range would be 52 to 70 versus 49 to 66. And I know we're in talking with a local repair shop just down Hickory Street. Mechanics are difficult to hire as well.
Any other comments or questions?
Well, it's something that we have to do to remain competitive. Adjusting the ranges it allows the managers to make the adjustments necessary constantly without having to come to us to get exceptions. And again, I don't even know if this is going to get us to where we need to be. It's still going to be an issue, but it's something we need to do.
I would be fine with switching the mechanic to a grade 10, if that's something that you would need to do soon in order to find people for the position. How many open positions do we currently have?
We've got the mechanic, the streets maintenance, 2 street maintenance. There's a utility operator position, but I think we just started advertising for that one. No. Not yet? Okay. We will be advertising for a utility operator to backfill the promotion of an employee to utility supervisor. So we got 3, the 2 streets, the mechanic, public works director, engineer, and soon to be a utility operator.
And are we interviewing for any of those yet?
Have people apply for them?
What?
I said if people applied for them.
Yeah, we've had one interview on a mechanic. I'm working to try and schedule one for DPW engineer. I think we're relooking at applications for street maintenance and still getting some in. The challenge on street maintenance is finding people that have a CDL, which is a requirement to use the plow trucks, which is a critical component. And with the federal changes on CDL requirements and training, that's making those positions, those employees, or people that have a CDL, more marketable for over-the-road trucking positions, which can pay significantly more than municipalities. So we're trying, and we've got it out in every location we can in terms of posting.
Any other questions or comments? If not, Scott, you have enough?
Yep, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, wait, but there's a possible action on the deputy clerk and deputy treasurer positions if you want to
Oh,
make
the
that.
component of that, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, forgot about that. Would somebody like to make a motion as it relates to the salary ranges for deputy clerk and deputy treasurer position?
Okay, so what you're proposing is the pay range for both of those is the same?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the established salary ranges for deputy clerk and deputy treasurer positions as noted.
And should we add mechanic onto that to switch the grade?
Oh, yeah.
Can
Well,
we do
that's
that? 'Cause
not,
it's not-
that's not agenda.
Yeah, that's not
specifically. I
agendized.
appreciate that, and we'll have this
Yeah.
back for the next meeting.
Alrighty.
No, thank you.
Heather, you seconded, right?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. Discussion and possible action on Class B temporary alcohol license for Friends of the Park, September 8th in Kiwanis Village Park. Does anybody have any questions or comments as it relates to that?
Make a motion to approve the temporary Class B retailer license for Friends of the Park.
Second.
Who wants it? Gergen.
I just have a question. I noticed in the information that this is the first time that they would be serving alcohol during the movie?
Negative.
Huh?
Negative.
And that's what it said on the thing.
For Friends of the Parks, Winnebago hosted the last movie in the park night back in 2020, and it was a big success with Mauritius.
I was just wondering what kind of movie we were showing.
No, that's what I'm saying. So this is the first time for Friends of the Park, whatever. But
No, I was looking for the movie.
It's a kid's movie.
Oh, it's a kids movie.
And they
Oh,
get-
it is?
So they
Okay.
get better with beer.
I was just wondering.
So it's something to help the parent, mom,
Right.
help her to
suffer through.
I see.
Yet another viewing.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. There are no more citizens here this evening, so we will skip the citizen comments and go right into the Village Board of the Village of Pewaukee will enter a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute Section 1985 1E for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Specifically regarding collective bargaining agreement, Pewaukee Police Association pursuant to Wisconsin Section 1985 1G for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is entering or oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to the litigation which it is or is likely to become involved specifically regarding Wisconsin manufacturers and commerce and High Z revocable trust and notice of claim from West Bend Mutual. I will look for a motion to go into closed session.
Motion go in closed session.
Second, Rhodey.
Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Gergen?
Yes.
Trustee Rhodey?
Yes.
Trustee Bell?
Yes.
Trustee Krasovich?
Yes.
Trustee Roberts?
Yes.
Trustee Grabowski?
Yes.
President Knutson?
Yes, we are in closed session. Thank you. Is there anyone down there? Nope, okay. Okay, item 11 this evening is possible action on disallowance of claim. Does anybody have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the disallowance as presented.
Second, Gergen?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. Item 12 is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn, Gergen?
Second, Grabowski.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are hereby adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for